I've done an exercise where I've stood on stage at a conference, told someone I'm going to sell their product from stage to someone in the audience at twice the price they charge using models, and I don't know anything about their product. And I told the whole audience this. So everyone knows the rules of the game, but the rule is it's a real sale. So if you're the person still standing at the end and we've agreed the price, you're going to buy that product from that other person, right? And everyone goes, yep, great. And I ask people to call out what they want to sell, and then I pick somebody and I find out their price. You know, my favorite one was a guy that sold training in the hospitality industry, and I said, "What's your price?" He said, $2,500 a day for training. I went, great. And I just started, and geometry is really powerful. So I used a model for what the perfect hospitality training would look like, and facilitated the model out of the audience. So I said to the audience, hey, folks, I think there's 3 dimensions to this, but I'd be interested in what you think the 3 dimensions are. Now I've guided. This is like, if you want to be in control, the geometry puts you in control. Now I've limited them to 3 dimensions, not 10. What would you think the most important 3 dimensions are? Call it out, run the microphones. They call stuff out and I get 8. And I go, we need to vote on this because there's only 3, and we get it down to 3, right? Now, inside those 3 dimensions, I think there's probably a couple of 2 to 3 things that are really critical inside those 3 dimensions. What would they be? And they call it out and I put them under my triangle. And you know what's really important about this is what happens when in the intersection between each of the pairs of sides of the triangle. That's where the value is created. If you put this together with that, what happens when that happens in training and people call it out and I draw it on the model? And so the model was built, and I'm going, you know, who's in hospitality? Stand up if you're in hospitality. Now, the audience was half hospitality because of where the conference was. And I was starting, I said, how many people would love this kind of training? Now, at this point, they've forgotten the whole setup that I gave them at the start, and that this guy said it's $2,500 a day, right? Who'd want this kind of training for your staff? And everyone went, yeah, all the people stand. I said, I've got to eliminate the cheapskates, sorry. And I drew a bell curve, which is one of the fastest ways of getting rid of lowest price. And I drew the bell curve, which basically, I'll actually, because this could be useful to people, just let me show you on the screen again. Just put my drawing on the screen if you would. So now we've set up the model. I'm going, so listen, if you think about it, there's training in the hospitality industry that's down here in the red zone. And it's, oh my goodness, kind of training, which means it's dreadful. And, you know, people charge a low price for that usually. There's training here in the amber zone of the bell curve. I mean, the key to the bell curve, of course, is there's a lot of average. And so there's training that is okay, and people charge a commoditized price for that. Then there's training up here in the light green zone that is wow. It's going to have a lot of happy sheets from staff, and people charge, you know, quite a price for that. Who would want that kind of training? And everybody put their hand up. And I go, okay, but there's another level above wow, isn't there? Everyone's going, yeah, but what is it? It's the level of, like wow is a narcotic, it's a drug. Oh, is this deep, embedded change in your people. They come back from the training as different human beings. Notice the change in voice and tonality. This is the level of realization. They don't come back happy, they come back changed. What's that training worth to you? And people are going to get priceless. And that triangle that we've just built, would you agree, is delivering that kind of training? And they all went, yeah. But I can't remember the guy's name, call him Fred. Fred is promising this kind of training, not at the price of O, but at the price at the upper end of wow, which is $5,000 a day. Who's up for it? Who wants to buy it? And 3 people put their hand up. And I said, remember, folks, the rule was this is a real deal. This is a real sale. So you need to go to Fred now and buy his training at $5,000 a day, right? And Fred went, but I only charge $2,500 a day. I could have slapped him. You know, we just actually sold 3 people in the room without me knowing anything about what he does. And so in front of the room, I'm saying, Fred, seriously, mate, does your training deliver what that triangle's promising? And he said, absolutely. I said, well, there are 3 people that are going to pay you $5,000 a day for the training with their teams. In the break, you need to go and do that deal. Now, whether he did or not, I don't know, but that's up to Fred's own personal kind of stuff.
Thank you for taking the time to check out this effective marketing clip. If you found this interesting and useful, YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy this one, and this is the latest thing that we've put together. If you haven't yet, and you could take a second to like, share, subscribe, and comment, that will give us the motivation to continue on this epic journey.